This morning, 22nd of October 2021. It's SportsBang.
Yeah, good morning, Tunde. Good morning, Ayobami. Good morning, Ibadan. Wonderful time to be here on a Friday morning, Friday SportsBang. We've talked about the extra bit of spice on our Facebook, our live stream over there. Well, quickly into our history books this morning. Tunde came in dressed in like someone going for an Owambe, and something is telling me it has to be the birthday, the birthday of someone in the world of sports, talking about the
before
current...
you mention it, let me think. I hope it will be somebody worth it.
Yes, definitely.
In all sense of it.
Okay,
definitely.
In all sense of it.
FIFA's chief of global football development, talking about Arsene Wenger, is turning
the great French man,
turning 72 today. I mean, you just have to say it's really, really worth it. You cannot, undermine what this man has done in the world of football generally. Maybe one of the best minds, that has ever graced that sport. You just have to say, you look at the number of the plethora of languages he can speak. He speaks English, German, French, Japanese, and that is someone. And you also see, what he has been able to do every time. We've been seeing what he's been doing with FIFA in the last couple of months and maybe years now, trying to bring someone. And then you also talk about what he did as a manager. I think that is, the most important thing as the manager of Arsenal over there. Remains the most successful manager in Arsenal's history, winning 3 league titles, 7 FA Cups. And you look at all that and you feel like, well, this is one man that we should celebrate. I mean, happy 72nd birthday to Arsene Wenger.
Happy 72nd birthday to the great Frenchman, Arsene Wenger. I mean, some of us, at some point, I bet this happened to a lot of people. You think, how come the manager of Arsenal
was bearing
Arsene? A couple of times I've heard people say Arsenal Wenger.
Yes.
I mean, somebody who embodied his club. His contribution to English football through changes to scouting, players training, diet regimen revitalized Arsenal and aided the globalization of the sport in the 21st century. Don't also forget, what a lot of people would gleefully say, the golden EPL title.
Yeah.
He was actually the man in charge of Arsenal when they went unbeaten, the entire season. I mean, I'm just thinking, if he wasn't let go by Arsenal, maybe he would still be managing. You never can tell.
Well, I doubt it. It was looking like he was past it at that point in time. Many people still argue that, maybe the way he was let go was not...
But considering what has become of Arsenal, can we really say was the problem?
Well, you say that the club has not also done so well, but at that point in time, I felt the club also needed a breath of fresh air, as regards the
and what has
manager.
Happened?
Well, maybe they've not recruited properly. Look at
maybe it was not the problem.
Maybe look at the caliber of coaches they've got in a particular Mikel Arteta. They have Freddie Ljungberg somewhere in there. No, I'm not sure they've done so well. Yeah, Unai Emery tried his best, got to the finals of his most coveted competition, the Europa League, but one way or the other, Arsenal happened to him and he didn't win it.
Okay, Ayobami Animashan, good morning to you. Welcome on SportsBang.
Hey, good morning to you, Tunde, and to Faith. I've heard you guys really wax through lyrical about...
Why should be celebrating Arsene Wenger in a special way?
I know, right?
Tell us something that we haven't said about the man this morning.
Well, it is the fact that just a few days ago, the most successful manager in English football history, Sir Alex Ferguson, was quoted to have said for all he won as a manager, he would easily trade all of that for a golden EPL trophy, which was won by only Arsene Wenger. That sounded a bit ludicrous, but to a large extent, it's quite valid. It is something that is quite unique. It is something that has never been achieved anywhere else in English football, at least in recent years.
No, I think Pristine Norton.
In recent years. I knew you were going to pick that up.
Hey!
But the reality is that... No. You can go as far as saying that, but then going 49 games unbeaten is something quite ridiculous. Liverpool were quite close to doing that just about 18 months or thereabouts ago. And they were made to know that, indeed, it's quite easy for you to dream, but very difficult for you to actualize it sometimes. And, of course, going a whole season unbeaten is one of those things that you can only just dream and wish of. Maybe one day another team will do that in English football. But as we speak right now, that record stands tall. I don't know whether it's ever going to, amongst the fans now, whether it's ever going to really rank as same as, of course, winning the Champions League or UEFA Europa League. But ultimately, for a man like Sir Alex Ferguson to have come out to say that he would easily trade all he has won with United for a golden APL trophy, that says a lot about the worth of that particular trophy, the uniqueness of it, and ultimately the bragging right that is only experienced by Arsenal faithfuls and, of course, the man we are celebrating, Arsene Wenger.
Okay, they call him La Professeur.
Yeah.
You know, his studious look, his demeanor, his calmness, everything about him, cuts the image of, his collar.
Yes.
His collar manager. And, I mean, he's where he truly belongs right now, doing a lot of things for FIFA. Maybe controversially these days about having the World Cup every 2 years.
But apart
he
from
seems
that,
to be the poster boy of that initiative right now.
There are several other underlining things that are actually included in that project itself, which I think we haven't really unearthed or talked about extensively. For instance, the schedule, the schedule of international matches, the remuneration for confederations,
a lot of
and
people
of course
are still kicking, regardless.
And more importantly is the new project that they're also trying to discuss later next month, which is to now go full blown with technology, with the use of actually picking out offside rule. This time around, I don't know how they're ever going to actually implement that, but Wenger last week came out as saying that from 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, then they're actually going to be using technology to determine offside rule. So that might easily just help us
using
out.
technology for some
This time around, it's actually going to be very easy. It's like a goal line technology. Goal line technology, referees actually have a wristwatch that says, okay, the ball has crossed the line or not. So something quite similar to that will make it, there will be no gray area anymore. It's actually either black or it is white. Either you're offside, maybe by half an inch or something, or never you're not actually offside. So that exactly is one thing I'm actually quite interested in seeing how it pans out. Technology has obviously taken over the world of football. Science is also having its air. Of course, it's looking quite interesting. So having someone like Wenger at the age of 72, supposedly someone you think is actually belonging to the old age, championing this new course, says a whole lot about how the man is also trying to metamorphose and adapt to the new face of sports generally now.
Okay, on Facebook, Michael Ben has already given his first shot about our question. He said, Nikos Anastopoulos. Okay, Adraloye Abe. Okay, you're just hailing. Good morning to you. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, Agbebi Felix. Saying, my quote of the week. And Emery got to the Europa League final, but Arsenal happened to him and couldn't win it. You didn't credit it to fate. I suppose that's to fate. Abu Kasimu, okay, he has gone the way of trolling this morning, saying, good morning to you all. It was a bad outing for Jose Mourinho. Yes, we'll get to that point. 6-1, that should be like his joint heaviest defeat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, which one is worse? The 5-0 he lost against Barcelona when it was at Real Madrid, and 6-1. I think this one should be worse.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is
because that was against Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly. The pedigree of the team.
Okay, we'll get to that point. Quickly, let's move on. Remember, you can get on our Facebook fan page and let's, give it your shots. Who is this 33-year-old striker who has never played for a club outside his country? He made his international debut against Greece in 2011 and also the joint top scorer for his national team. Well, the House Committee on Sports has summoned the former NBBF president, Engineer Musa Kida, to appear before it within 2 of not paying what is due to the team. The Tigers have demanded that the federation is owing each player the sum of $73,000 and a total of $212,115, which include money expected from the federal government. Well, this story has been, thoroughly embarrassing in the last couple of weeks. I like the way the girls went about it. You cannot isolate anybody for punishment in this one.
Exactly.
Except you want to disband your team, which is not a successful team like this one. We'll wait to see how all of this will pan out. In the world of tennis, Andy Murray was knocked out of the ATP European Open after losing 6-4, 7-6 to Diego Schwartzman. The Scot went into a 4-1 lead in the first set in Antwerp, but his Argentine opponent rallied to win 5 consecutive games to secure the first set before claiming victory with a win on a tiebreak in the second set. Murray will now prepare for the Erste Bank Open in Vienna, which begins next Monday. And from tennis to Formula One, Sebastian Vettel's hopes of scoring his first point for 5 races will be compromised at the United States GP by a great penalty for exceeding engine allocation limits. The Aston Martin driver confirmed the impending penalty in Thursday's press conference in Austin. And to basketball, the NBA is up and running again. Steph Curry hits a go-ahead 3-pointer with 56.8 seconds remaining to follow up a 30-footer less than a minute earlier, and he relished every bit of his 45-point home opener that lifted the Golden State Warriors over the Los Angeles Clippers 115-113 on Thursday night. Atlanta Hawks showed effective teamwork in a 113-87 rout of the Dallas Mavericks. Cam Reddish scored 20 points, Trae Young added 19, and 4 others scored in double figures as the Hawks exhibited impressive depth in squad. Elsewhere, Miami Heat trounced defending champions Milwaukee Bucks 137-95. Meanwhile, head coach of Ghana's women national team, Mercy Tago Kwaku, insists her side showed more intelligence than Nigeria in Wednesday's 2-0 defeat to the African champions. Uche Nakano's first half double condemned the Black Queens to a first-round first-leg loss to the Super Falcons in the Women's African Cup of Nations qualifier at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. Despite a disappointing defeat in Nigeria, Tago Kwaku is confident they can make the best of the second-leg meeting at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday, the 24th of October. Okay, that's an intelligent defeat, right?
Yeah.
We'll just see what goes on. Well, this was quite surprising when I saw it yesterday that NFF has approved the reinstatement of Coach Salisu Yusuf to his position as assistant coach of the Super Eagles and head coach of the Super Eagles B team with effect from the 1st of November 2021. Remember, Salisu was in August 2018 caught on camera accepting cash from men who posed as football agents to select 2 players for his Morocco 2018 African Nations Championship squad. He was ordered to pay a fine of $5,000 by the Federation after the NFF Ethics and Fair Play Committee ruled that the coach received $1,000 from the men. In just about 20 seconds each, what's your take about this new developments? Let me start with you, friends.
Well, I'm not sure we do enough to punish people. We all talked about the fact that the punishment was just a slap on the wrist for him. But it is what it is. He's back with the Super Eagles. We hope that he will bring back his expertise to the team, and then the Super Eagles will begin to play better than they used to play, or than we've been seeing in recent games.
Okay, and why you think?
Expertise or not, I think we are really just setting a bad precedence right now. It's not as if we're actually deprived of top quality coaches that could still step in and stay right there as assistant head coach rather to go on a roll. So for someone to have been caught and of course been punished, and we are still giving him this kind of role again, I think we are rather just
accept this punishment.
Yeah, but we are also rather sending out a message that for other coaches or even other people in other faculties can actually go ahead, do this. Maybe after a few years, they can still come back to that same position.
So what would you have the NFF do?
Look elsewhere. There are several other coaches in Nigeria.
Don't ever consider him again?
No, don't.
Interesting.
That's really unforgiving.
Yes. I mean, it's something that's eating Nigeria's football.
But what about people
badly.
getting their careers back after making mistakes?
Listen, I understand. As a matter of fact, last season he was still with Enugu Rangers. It's not as if he's totally out of football. He wasn't banned from football. But I just feel having to work with NFF in that capacity again says a lot about NFF's stance against bribery and all that.
Okay. Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan got their Ogunjobi Gold Cup campaign off in the flying start after they came from behind to beat FC Ebede 3-1 on match day 1 of the preseason tournament. And away from the shores of Africa, prosecutors in France have called for Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema to be given a 10-month suspended prison sentence and a 75,000 euros fine over his involvement in an alleged blackmail attempt on former French international teammate Mathieu Valbuena regarding a sex tape. I think the whole idea is to let this guy retire, before they bring all of these things back. Well, Julian Nagelsmann was absent from Bayern Munich's 4-0 win over Benfica, and now the reason why has been explained. Bayern have written on Twitter that he tested positive for COVID-19 despite being fully vaccinated. And of course, he's back in Munich, separately from the team in a medical plane and isolated back home. A quick one from the Europa League before we take the Premier League of the Leon Balogun scored his first goal of the season for Rangers as the Scottish champions beat visiting Brøndby 2-0 to record their first win in Group A of the Europa League on Thursday. Victor Osimhen, red-hot striker, continued his impressive form in front of goal as he scored a Napoli's 3-0 home win against Legia Warsaw. Osimhen now has 9 goals in 10 games played in all competitions this season. Certainly one of the best in Europe. Elsewhere, Paul Onuachu could not inspire his Belgian side Genk as they lost 3-0 away to West Ham United. In the European Conference League, that's the third tier of European club competition, former MFMFC striker Steven Ode got 2 goals, which helped Randers force to a 2-2 away draw in Group D. Taiwo Awoniyi scored as Union Berlin suffered a 3-1 defeat against Feyenoord at the Stadion Feyenoord in Rotterdam. We're badly out of time right now, but this must be talked about. Jose Mourinho's Roma were humiliated 6-1 in the Europa Conference League on Thursday at Bodo Glimt. The Norwegian champions Wolves fans are famed for carrying giants yellow toothbrushes 2 games. 6-1.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else to be said. Let's just take a quick break for the BBC Premier League update.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. West Ham United maintained their perfect start to the Europa League group stage with a 3-0 win over the Belgian side Genk at the London Stadium. Dave Moyes' side are yet to concede in the competition and top their group. Tottenham lost 1-0 away at Vitesse in the Netherlands in the Conference League, leaving them third in their group at the halfway stage. Newcastle United's new owners have held talks with the former Roma manager Paulo Fonseca as they continue their search for Steve Bruce's replacement. Several candidates are being considered by the Saudi-backed consortium. Former Bournemouth manager Eddie Howe, the ex-Borussia Dortmund coach Lucien Favre and Belgian boss Roberto Martinez have all been linked with the job. Assistant coach Graham Jones will lead Newcastle in an interim capacity for Saturday's game at Crystal Palace. Bruce left the club on Wednesday and, despite saying warm words about his former team, highlighted the abuse and pressure he was subjected to from critics. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta also believes things went too far.
We cannot blame the fans, guys. Only say, no, it's the fans. No, it's not the fans. Football is in an industry that is that big, that has such a big impact in society, that everybody has an opinion. And it's great because it creates debate, it creates opinion, and it's great. But when you cross the line, I think it becomes really difficult because it's not a man, it's a family, it's his loved ones. I think we have to reflect. I was really impressed with how he explained openly how he felt, and I didn't like it, to be fair.
Aston Villa's Dean Smith agrees and feels the former Newcastle boss had a respectable record before he left.
A lot has been made out of Steve's management, but Steve's management has had Newcastle finishing 13th and 14th in the league, which for me is perfectly acceptable and was acceptable before Steve as well.
Arsenal play Aston Villa at the Emirates on Friday. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League.
Okay, that was the BBC Premier League update. Welcome back on SportsBang. Well, it is time to take your calls on the program this morning. We're out of time. Well, the answer to our question, I mean, somebody on our Facebook said, you guys, this is your question, Seth. There are so many 33-year-old strikers in the world. Well, I mean, that's, if you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, I mean, I can already see on the page that some people have actually gotten it. His name is Artem Juba from Russia. So the question is to check what the fastest is.
I think it was Shitu Toyib's answer came in 6 minutes ago, so I mean, he was the first to get it.
So Shitu Toyib, perennial winner on the program, will definitely be reaching out to you. Please DM me with your account details, and certainly we'll do the needful. Maybe just 1 or 2 calls before we leave this morning, and this is Josh being very, very generous because we're out of time. Hello, good morning. What do we have here?
Yeah, Aziz from Abeokuta.
Aziz from Abeokuta. Let's have your number quickly.
Number 3.
Number 3. How many goals has Sebastian Coates scored in the UEFA Champions League history?
Sebastian
Coates.
16.
16 goals.
Yeah.
Okay, he has only scored 2 goals.
In fact, those 2 goals he scored earlier this week in the Champions League.
Thank you for calling. Let's see if somebody else will get through. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is
Adeji Latif, your number, please.
number 4.
Number 4. Okay. Mention the 2 women tennis players who have won more games on WTA Tour than Ariana Sabalenka this calendar year. That's tough. Even me, I reckon. Sorry? Hello? Okay. Are you just dropping names? Because you are not even close. Barbara Krejcikova and Ons Jabeur. Well, we have to go. So Shitoib is our only winner on the Facebook this morning. We have to go, guys.
Yeah, quickly, odds for the week. Brentford against Leicester. Both teams to score in that one. Atalanta against Udinese. Home team to win either half. Then the other game from the French league between Nice and Lyon. Lyon win or draw in that particular.
Okay, A1?
Okay, for my own games, Leeds at home against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm expecting a Leeds win or draw in that one. Chelsea to also defeat Norwich City by...
Hey.
Okay, you know what? I won't go for that. Honestly, I won't. Please, Leeds win or draw against Wolverhampton. By the way, I've actually won in the last 2 weeks. You guys won't talk about that. I understand. In the French League, Lens will be hosting FC Metz over 1.5 in that one. Same thing in the game involving Monaco and Montpellier over 1.5 goals. Okay,
follow Pessimist Sabi Road. This guy is AY Fates. I mean, doing wonders. Absolutely. Play and come back to thank us. Just to say thank you. Thank you so much. Let's do this again tomorrow. This time on World Sports by 12:30. 90 minutes discussing sports on a global scale. My name is Tunde Olawuwo. Have a wonderful Friday and bye-bye.